When I was just starting out as a preacher and confused about a situation I was in, an older brother came to me and said, "You won't know what you're supposed to do until you know who you are." And he added, "And you can't really know who you are until you know whose you are." I needed that reminder. And I want to remind all of you who are Christians of two things that you already know, but are constantly tempted to forget. Number one, you do not belong to the world. And number two, you do not belong to yourself. People who belong to the world must constantly be rebranding themselves so that they can be on board with the current thing. And people who pretend to answer to no one but themselves will soon find that themselves is an inadequate source of light and direction in this crazy world. We all need something outside of ourselves to navigate by. Or to change the metaphor, we need a rock that is higher and more stable than we are that we can anchor ourselves to. When I get confused about what to do, I think back to the words of 1 Peter 1, verse 18. "For you know that it was not with perishable things such as silver or gold that you were redeemed from the empty way of life handed down to you from your ancestors, but with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or defect." I belong to Jesus Christ, who gave his life for mine. And in times of confusion, that's a powerful guiding light. This is how Daniel navigated the complexity of life in Babylon, even when the king went so far as to change Daniel's name to Belshazzar, a name associated with the pagan deity. But still, Daniel remembered who he really was, and he remembered that his name in Hebrew meant, "God is my judge." By staying true to his God, he was able to not only keep from being overwhelmed by the pagan culture he was immersed in, but he was actually able to have considerable influence on it for good. In fact, the most amazing thing about the book of Daniel is how a few faithful Jewish boys impacted the king and the kingdom of Babylon by remembering whose they were. Brothers and sisters in Christ, remember today that you belong to Jesus.